In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still out. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
I wonder what's the worst thing we could get Chuck Fresh to say. Like, where does he draw the line?
I don't think he draws the line in anything.
Ever?
I think we could pay that man to say whatever we want.
I really do. I think we can get him to maybe
Because we got
threaten
him
the
to say some absurd
president.
things.
Maybe we can get him to do absolutely anything.
Yes.
I feel like we could get him to say anything. Yeah, I feel like there is no line for Chuck Fresh.
No.
You pay him the $5, he'll say
it.
whatever the fuck you want. Maybe we can get him to curse some people, like do actual spells. And
Oh,
something.
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
It's next level.
I think he'll say, because we got him to say fucking.
We did.
He didn't hesitate to that.
He didn't write back or anything. He just said, sounds good.
He said, absolutely, I'll do whatever the hell you guys want. But yeah. Well, Mason, we're not here to talk about Chuck Fresh. That's every other podcast.
Yeah.
This is not one of those podcasts.
No.
What are we here to talk about? This is something, it ties in.
It does tie in. We should announce it today because for the whole month of October, this is our new TV Tuesdays that we're doing.
Exciting.
Very exciting.
times.
This is Jim Henson's Dark Crystal. Now you might be asking, what do you mean TV show?
What do you mean?
We know that's a 1982 film that
There's
Jim
no
Henson
TV
had.
show.
But there's no TV show.
There's no dark.
Well, if you're a subscriber to Netflix, you know that
if you're not
Dark
hiding
Crystal,
under a fucking rock.
yeah, Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance is there now. They've got a whole season, 10 episodes,
Absolutely.
and we are so excited to dive into that.
Yeah.
But first, we must review the 1982.
You have
film.
to.
We have to.
You got to get your bearings. You got to see where you're at in the world. We have to get a little refresher course. I like the Dark Crystal, and I say I like the Dark Crystal because as a kid, it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, I would say you couldn't even get through probably 20 minutes of it.
No,
It's so
it
terrifying.
was there was some scary stuff. But you always felt like you're getting away with something watching it as a kid.
Oh, for sure.
To me, I always felt like I shouldn't be really watching this.
But I'm going to.
Yeah, this is not
Yeah.
for kids, but I'm going because it was targeted towards kids. And I think that was the biggest
supposed to be.
mistake it made.
Yeah, it was Jim Henson's idea for it was he said that like children have to deal with being scared at some point. And he said this was a healthy way for them to do that.
And I could not agree more.
I agree too. Yeah, you
They're-
don't want to nerf your children.
Absolutely not. No, kids, I mean, fucking, yeah. Roald Dahl did it. Tons in the old days, they used to always scare the shit out of kids. Scary stories, tell in the dark. That didn't. Now kids, if kids are going to stand strong, you got to give them a little, you got to scare them a little.
Yeah,
You know?
it's just natural.
Absolutely. But this is what that movie did to me. I mean, I was very scared of the Skeksis for sure. They looked, to me, they looked so realistic as a kid. They looked like they were fucking real.
Yeah.
And it scared the shit out of me.
Well, what's awesome about this movie too is this is the first live action film that didn't have a single human in the entire movie.
Yeah. That is fucking awesome.
Pretty awesome.
And we got to say this movie, 1982, I don't know if you, probably a lot of people are listening, have seen The Dark Crystal, I'm guessing.
yeah.
If you clicked on this, you've probably seen The Dark Crystal. But yeah, and a lot of people know that it was just groundbreaking when it came out.
Totally
The
groundbreaking.
puppetry has never been, I don't think it's been duplicated since The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance.
Uh-huh.
I don't think
And Jim Henson, we know that he passed away 94, many years ago.
Yeah.
But his daughter has since taken over the Jim Henson's productions.
I did. I saw that.
company.
That's awesome.
And she's
keeping
doing
in the
great
name.
things with Netflix right now with the
I
show.
know. I was surprised because I did watch a little bit of the documentary series.
So did I. I watched
And,
about 30 minutes
It's
of it.
very interesting. It's very cool to see. And it's cool that it's still kind of in the family.
Yes,
and it still
thank
has the Henson
God
name.
they decided not to go with CGI Gelfling and went with puppeteering Gelfling.
I did.
Still.
That was really interesting.
That was
when you
baffling to
when
me.
you told me it was CGI, I thought you meant everything was CGI. But they were originally just going to do Gelfling CGI. So everything else looked amazing. And to be honest, the CGI, it didn't look horrible. It did not look...
In their prototype?
Yeah, in the prototype.
But it still didn't capture the Gelfling eyes. It didn't capture the Gelfling
for TV,
essence,
that's probably the best.
For lack of a better word.
That's the best CGI whole character you're probably going to get for TV.
Yeah.
It didn't look horrible. I've seen much worse CGI.
Oh, for sure. It
in
wasn't the
$200
CGI
million
that was bad, but if you're going to do a live action,
it separates
Dark Crystal,
the two.
You got to have puppeteers.
If you have one thing that's CGI and one thing that's puppeteering or a puppet or a physical thing, it feels like they're on two different planes, and it feels like they can't really. They talk about it in the series, but it's my thought 100%. When something is 100% CGI and everyone around them, there's disconnect there.
Correct.
So you know it's not real. You know someone's playing it or someone's creating it. But yeah, that was so weird to me that they would make the entire thing puppets and then just do Gelfling. Although Gelflings are the hardest thing to puppet. But
because
if you're gonna do it, fucking do
small
it.
That there's not
They're
enough
making
room.
whole entire sets and everything. I mean, why not just fucking make the Gelfling puppet? And I'm glad they did.
Yeah, I'm glad they ultimately went with.
And
the
that was the
puppet
thing with like everyone that was working on it. They said it was super obvious. Yeah. They said there was no real big debate that we couldn't do it with just 100% puppets.
And what they ended up doing too, which I think is great, is that they used very, very, very subtle.
Very
CGI in the TV show, where like they're blinking and their mouths smile a little bit, but I didn't even notice until they brought it up in the documentary.
Yeah.
And the documentary is called The Crystal Calls, if you want to go check that out. We aren't actually reviewing that, but there's a lot of cool information in that documentary.
Yeah, if you love the world and everything, and you want more information about that and how it's built and everything, because they go back and talk about the 1982 one too in that docuseries, because they got the guy.
The same guy who worked on the 1982.
Yeah, who's a famous fantasy illustrator. He draws. They got that same guy. He's a little older now.
Yeah, about 40 years older.
But they got the same guy who literally designed all the characters and everything. He was on the set and everything. That's awesome.
And man, did the Gelfling look great in that TV show too?
Yeah, we haven't reviewed it yet, Mason.
No, I know.
Slow your roll.
I mean, just watch the previews.
That's true.
Watch the previews, man.
They look amazing.
They look good.
And watching that documentary, you can tell they look fucking amazing.
Yeah.
But again, give all the credit to the people running the puppets.
Definitely.
Those actors running the puppets, because they're the ones that are making the magic.
You know how hard it is to hold something. Just put your hand up here like this for 5 minutes, let alone have 25, 30 pounds of puppet work. I mean, these guys are walking around. Their shoulders.
The movements are so good. You never ever think that's an arm instead of an actual neck.
Not at all.
You never the way they move it, and it never bends like an arm. It always bends like a neck connected to the shoulders.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing is when I was watching, I'm like, man, those are fucking hands in the top of those heads. And someone else is controlling one other arm. It takes multiple people just to run the Skeksis.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what's in this original 1982. We talk about the Chamberlain, but you watch the mannerisms of the Chamberlain and like how he tilts his head and stuff, and like these little movements.
It's so
that
realistic.
really bring life to the puppet.
And they didn't have any CGI in the
film.
1980. Obviously.
They did not.
I mean, obviously not. But yeah, they didn't have any CGI in the 1982 version. It was all fucking puppets. And it still looks great.
It still holds up.
It's 1982. I mean,
like,
it staged a little bit, but it looks great. The puppets still look fucking fantastic. You know, puppets can only look so good. I mean, I think you get to the bar of, the actual like aesthetic, like facial features and stuff. They perfected it with the new 1982 version with adding those small CGI details, the creases in the mouth and the tongue. I think that's as great as puppets is gonna get. Yeah, I don't think you can do any more. No. But let's get into it.
Yeah, let's jump into this.
1982, Jim Henson's who directed Jim Henson and Frank Oz both split up and directed this bad boy.
And they also did, we all know this with Frank Oz. It's obvious he does voiceover work, but Jim Henson does voiceover work too. And he plays a few characters. He actually plays Mother Agra in this.
Oh, yeah. Well, and but Yeah, Frank Oz, Jim Henson. Those are the
Great
fathers of fucking
combination.
puppets or puppetry.
And we know Frank Oz, Yoda, the original series,
Mrs.
and
Piggy.
moving on, Mrs. Piggy,
and a million other characters.
Yeah.
Him and Jim Henson, Frank Oz got started. It was just Jim Henson, then Frank Oz came on, but those are the first two that fucking started everything. Now Frank Oz, because Jim Henson's dead, he's the go-to.
He's the guy.
He's the godfather
For
of
everything.
puppetry and everything. But he's directed a bunch of films also. Frank Oz has.
Yeah.
But yeah, directed by Jim Henson and Frank Oz. It's 1,000 years ago on the planet Thra. We know this. We know that.
We love the planet Thra.
We love the planet Thra. And there's the two new races appear just out of nowhere. Two new races. They've come down. It's
Otherworldly alien beings or
Yeah.
whatever.
And they come down, but they appeared with a powerful crystal, and the crystal cracked. And it's bad news when this fucking crystal cracks.
I mean, it is the life source of the entire planet of Thra.
It will split you right down the goddamn
Definitely
middle.
will.
And that's what happens to these great powerful beings. They are split into two different separate living beings. The malevolent Skeksis. These are the bird type, reptile-esque.
yeah.
They're the bad guys. And the cute, soft moving, maybe a little mentally slow, Irgu or Iru, also known as the Mystics.
Yes,
which
the Mystics.
is what we'll call
We're
them.
going to call them the Mystics. I like that much better.
It is a
The
lot.
Skeksis
It rolls off
and
the tongue.
Mystics, yeah.
But yeah, so they came down and it kind of talks about the world, gives us that VO, that voiceover of the world. It's been 1,000 thrine. We don't use years. There's boys and girls, but they don't use years.
No.
They use thrine.
Thrine is the
But it would be
word for year.
difficult to declare a year when there's 3 suns. Because a year for us is once around the sun. What are they wigging, going in and out of these suns? Like, a thrine might be many, many years.
Yeah, we don't know
Like,
what
what
it
are they
is.
determining? I'm guessing that's why they couldn't do a year. Because if you have 3 suns, of course, how do you
measure that? What, the giant sun? I don't know. I don't know which one you would
Well,
pick.
for gravity, how does gravity work? Because 3 separate
You know what? Let's not
suns.
get into the science,
get
of this,
science of this.
because we can just ask Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, he's gonna have a heyday on this film. Do not show
Do
him
not
this
let him
film.
know this film exists.
He'll be up for
be like,
days tweeting everything.
Reptilian birds,
you can't
7
have
feet
to-
tall. Those aren't real.
The temperature on Earth would be 98 degrees if you had 3 suns. It would be much too hot for living gelfling. It'd be much too long. Yeah. But yeah, not a lot of science in the world of Thra, which I kind of dig.
I like it.
Back
That
then,
means you
people
don't
just
have to
called
answer
science
shit.
magic. It's
Yeah.
a lot easier for everything.
It is.
But yeah, we see little Jen. I don't know if it's short for Jennifer. It might be. It's a girl's name for sure.
It is a girl's name, but it's a man.
It is a man.
It's a man gelfling.
It's a young gelfling.
Yes.
A young, strapping young gelfling, and he's being raised by the Uru.
Mystics,
The
yeah.
Mystics, yeah. And it talks about that his entire clan was destroyed, wiped out.
Evil Skeksis.
Evil Skeksis, absolutely. And he's told by the Era Master that he must heal the crystal. That he's the only one.
Yep.
I mean, no one else can do it.
No,
you can't send a podling in there. They'll fuck everything
up.
One,
They
they're
don't do everything.
horrible
anything good.
alcoholics. They're just partying all the time. But yeah, he's got to go, and it's a lot to put on this guy.
It is. I mean, to just throw that on him like last minute. He's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm about to peace out in 5 minutes. You have to save the planet."
And he can't even ask
Sound good?
questions. It's always the thing. Like, well, tell him a day earlier. Give him a day to ask questions.
That's the
Don't
Mystics.
tell him
They just throw
30
shit
seconds
on you,
before.
and that's it.
And then they fade out. They do the old fucking Ben Kenobi trick where deuces, I'm out.
They burn bright and they fade away.
And their clothes are the last thing to stay, always.
Yes, always.
But yeah, and yeah, exactly what we said. The mystic tells him, like, you gotta go find this a shard. You gotta go and you gotta find the astronomer. And at this point, Agra is just an astronomer.
I know.
She's not Mother Agra.
No.
She's just an astronomer.
Just yeah.
Which we'll learn in the series later on. We'll get into of her journey and whatnot. But she's doing nothing. But she was there for the Great Conjunction, and that was the beginning of Earth. So she's an old broad.
The beginning of Thra.
Beginning of Thra.
Earth.
But she might have been there for the beginning of Earth. She's
could have
been
been.
around
Yeah,
the
she
universe.
is a
I don't know if
giant,
Earth is
yeah.
in this world, but she's been around the galaxies.
That's true.
And
Especially with that orrery the Skeksis gave her.
Skektek gave her.
Ooh, Skektek.
Yeah, scientists, because they were good buddies.
They were.
In a fan theory, we think they're fucking.
Yeah, definitely. Low key.
There's
they're
some
meeting
fan
up somewhere.
fiction I'm writing that they definitely have a night together under the
And it's
stars.
not PG.
It'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a hard R. It's rated X for sure. Yeah.
Because Skektek has got a lot of built up aggression.
He's got a lot of those grabby hands. Those hands are all over 4 hands. You know, imagine what kind of things they're getting into. Kind of places they're not supposed to be. But yeah, he's got to go to Agra and she's got to go before the great conjunction, the alignment of the planets. That's what the great is. Well, the alignment of the suns, the 3 suns.
The 3 suns.
So she's got to go. He's got to go put the crystal into another crystal.
Yes, a crystal shard, a
Yeah.
piece of
And
to
all this
complete the
shit,
crystal.
Jin has no idea what they're even talking about.
No,
He had no idea there was a crystal.
they didn't catch him up to speed. The probably 15 years he was with the Mystics, they just threw him on him the last day and was like, "That's it."
Yes, and
So,
if he
yeah,
fails
Jen's
to do
confused
this,
about
the
this.
Skeksis will rule forever into the world.
Yes.
What a tough thing to put on a 15-year-old young gelfling
Yeah.
who was just chasing fucking butterflies the other day. Now he's got to go save the goddamn world. And are the Mystics gonna journey with him?
Oh, of course not. No, they're like, "We'll catch up later. We're gonna head to the castle after you."
We're gonna take a couple.
All this out.
Once you defeat everyone, we're gonna stroll in there and act like we did it all. But
and it'll take us a week.
because they're so slow. They're
So slow. So irritatingly slow.
It's a snail's pace. What took Jin 3 hours to traverse
takes them 3 weeks.
takes them 3 weeks. It's a slow journey. But yeah, and they're gonna roll forever. And then as Jin is getting told this from the head mystic, he fades.
He fades
out, and
And then we get cut to the next scene, and we're in the Skeksis castle, and we see that a Skeksis is laying in bed. Come to find out, it's the Emperor,
yeah.
the leader.
And if you watch the show, you know immediately who this guy is right off the
Mm-hmm.
bat. But if you just watching the movie, you're kind of worried. But we get that he's an emperor, but he's dying of old age for some reason. It does not
And we
get
don't
into
know
that
why.
at all.
No, it does not.
Because the rest of them are supposed to be like immortal. So
Mm-hmm.
why is this guy dying of old age? Maybe the series will tell us that.
Maybe.
But yeah, so he's fading out, and then we kind of get that we get before, but they're connected. One dies, the other guy dies.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it's tough circumstances because that guy could be a fucking drug addict, and you could be just living the best of your life, and then you just
Living the good
fade-
life. And then, yeah.
Mystics weren't doing anything wrong.
No, of
they
course
just
not.
fade
They're just-
in and out
yeah,
every once in a while.
They're just living and they're just walking slow and eating. That's it.
So the emperor dies, and now there's obviously a big fight on who's going to be emperor.
Right.
And
Because
they
the Skeksis, majority of them want power.
Of course, because that's all they want. They're
Yeah, the
basically
general
the
wants
politicians of the world. Yeah, they all want to rule. They all want to be emperors.
And
they
a fight ensues between the general
Well,
and
they gotta have a little
the
duel.
Chamberlain.
They gotta do a little was it trial by stone?
Trial by stone.
Which is a weird trial. You just gotta bang these swords against this rock.
Until it breaks.
Well, I don't even think it was supposed to break because before the stone looks like it's been hit a bunch.
Uh-huh.
It's not broken. Maybe you just gotta take the biggest chunk off or something.
I don't know.
But
he
the
broke-
general takes off the whole thing.
He did.
Goes
He had a
big.
nice
I don't know
swing.
if he's been saving this up or something, but he takes the stone. I guess you can't do the trial by stone anymore. Maybe you got to get a new stone.
You
I don't know.
definitely have to go look for a new one.
But yeah, or it's the general. The general wins trial by stone,
He
and
does.
he goes up
and they
against
banish Chamberlain right away.
Chamberlain, who's because there's like nine Skeksis or something. They all have different roles they play in this castle. But the Chamberlain,
And the original idea for the 1982 film is there were only supposed to be 7 Skeksis, and they were all supposed to represent the 7 deadly sins. And they ended up going with 9 Skeksis instead and kind of wiping that out. But that was the original cut. Interesting, is it not?
Yeah, that makes sense because we really don't get a sense of how many there are. There
No,
might
we
be a
do not.
shit ton of them because because they keep coming in. They keep just fucking, but yeah. So the Chamberlain gets jumped because after you lose a fucking duel, they beat the shit out of you and
Yeah.
strip all your clothes off.
Take all of his garbs and banish him from the castle.
Yeah.
I guess you're not allowed to like challenge.
Why
for the
even
throne?
why even risk it? I know. I'd rather just What were they gonna do if he didn't challenge him? Well, I guess someone had to challenge him, right?
Yeah.
Well, sucks for the Chamberlain. He took the shot, didn't make it. Wasn't even close. Came way short. Ends up getting booted out of the castle.
And I love this scene too when they strip their clothing and you can just see how disgusting these Skeksis are. Their bodies are like,
they're
it looks like
decrepit.
it looks like a 9-year-old's like, like a 9-year-old that's too fat. Like you see the fat like hang down.
Yeah, it's that
all
skinny
like,
fat
lumpy,
where it's like you're somehow starving to death, but you still have a gut.
You still
but
have
you can still see the
fat.
ribs in the gut. Like what's happening
I
here?
don't know.
Yeah, they are disgusting. They're just the
vile
worst. The
creatures.
embodiment of like disgusting evilness, right? And and they look horrible. But the general wins, and he's in charge of the crab-like Garthams, right?
Yes.
These guys are big guys, like little dung beetles, kind of, but they're crabs,
And they're giant.
And it's probably the most impressive puppetry of the entire thing.
It is. And these costumes were so heavy.
He couldn't be in there for more than 2 minutes.
Yeah, for more than 5 minutes, and then every single time they had to hang them. They had to hang the actors on racks
because they
take
couldn't
the
get him
weight
out of the suit either till they were done. So
till
you
it
had
was
to
done.
hang. Yeah, Jim Henson, who also played Jim Henson, who just did fucking everything. On this one. He also tried to play some of the Gartham, and he said it was fucking just horrible and super hot in there. Just I can only imagine 200 pounds of latex.
Oh my god, well, latex! But I mean, they were metal plates.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
You'd
armored.
be pouring sweat. What a workout, though. Great workout. But you'd be pouring sweat, man. And the Gartham Master, who's the general, he wins, and the Chamberlain is exiled, but he learns of Jin's existence.
Yes, because the crystal calls right after that, right?
Yeah, the crystal's kind of
the crystal's calling. The crystal's calling, and then they go to the crystal room, and that's when they find out that there's still a Gelfling.
Yep. And the general, he says, he tells the Gartham to hunt him down.
Yes, because all the Skeksis know about this prophecy. About the prophecy of the Gelfling coming back.
Yes,
to
there's
ruin,
this
to kill all
long
the Skeksis.
1,000-thraw prophecy that one day one Gelfling will rise up and bring balance to the Force, or whatever the fuck they're doing.
Bring balance.
It's the same
back to
story.
Thraw.
It's the same story.
It's just different.
Yeah.
Thraw, the Force.
It's the same exact shit. But yeah, exactly. He's gonna bring balance because all the Gelflings are dead. They've been wiped out. They've been fucking genocided.
Decimated.
Yeah.
All the clans and everything. And we learned that early on in this movie that when we first are introduced to Jen, we legitimately think that is the last Gelfling on the face of Thraw.
Yeah, but we don't really know why they killed all these Gelflings. Except obviously now we think that it was because they had to kill everyone because they were worried about the fucking someone rising up and doing the prophecy.
Yes.
But really, in the show, I think we learn about that they were killing them for a different reason. And we learn about it in the movie also. They wanted that sweet fucking drip, that essence,
drip,
baby.
drip.
Oh, man.
It's that Ric Flair drip.
Yes, sir, absolutely. You want that drip, absolutely, bro. And eventually, Jin reaches Agra in her Ori.
Yep.
She's fucking, doing what she's doing, sleeping as usual. The lazy
Which
bitch.
I know. What is she doing in this?
I know what happened. What circumstances happened in the prequel of the show for her?
I
to
know
just
for
give
just
up.
kind of give up on life and just said enough is enough.
And she has a fucking box of shards.
You never thought?
Here,
you never
just
thought
throw
to, like,
these
just
down.
go through these? Yeah. She was like, "Oh, you want the shards?" And she dumps them.
Yeah.
And then Jen's like, "Okay, bitch. What?"
Yeah, I think there's 30 here.
Yeah,
Which one?
what do I pick?
Luckily, you got a little Picard's flute.
Reminds me of the little Ron Burgundy Anchorman.
Really, I didn't come
Really
prepared.
beautiful. Yeah. Jen's like, "Didn't come prepared." Pulls
Pulls it out of his sleeve, connects. Yeah, he does, but he whips that flute out. I guess that's the one thing they fucking taught him was how to play flute. Thank God.
I guess
But
so.
the sound of music resonates within the crystal.
And that is how he decides.
And he says, "I'm taking this bitch. She's glowing."
I mean, I think that's a tall tale sign. I mean, that's the one.
Agra's not giving you any goddamn
No,
help. That's
she's not.
For sure.
She's actually not helpful at all. She dumps the box and kind of just walks away.
She's got to look at the planets.
Come on.
Agra does tell Jin, though, of the Great Conjunction. She says that the planet or the suns will align. But he learns very little to the connection to the shard and to anything. Again, Agra's kind of really being catty about
Yeah,
this.
for sure.
Which I don't know why.
No.
I don't know why at this point she would be like that.
I have no idea. It is a rather odd thing.
It is, yeah,
for her to be like this.
Yeah, what if you watch a little bit of the show, you kind of get this. Why is she so submissive and completely given up? But and eventually again he finds her and he just says, Oh no, the fucking
The Gartham show up, and they
and the
break
Gartham
down-
are the Kool-Aid man of soldiers. They don't ever take a door.
They never take the door. They always break down walls. Anywhere they go, these motherfuckers are
and they're
breaking down walls.
they're fucking like Bowl and China shop. They just run through and they're knocking everything over.
And they're always making little crittery sounds.
But they're not like the most petite.
No, or athletic.
Or they don't have the softest touch.
A little clumsy.
They're like knocking on the door and they just destroy the whole goddamn wall.
Like a giant freaking crab claws. I mean, goodness gracious.
You can't grab it. It's difficult. I'll give it to them. But they just destroy the Ori. I mean, I don't even think they were trying to at the start. They just ran in there and everything started blowing up.
And luckily, Jen escapes, but Agra is captured by the Gartham.
Agra she's taken, she's put into a little cage and they eventually just take her. But we get the sense that Agra is something else, right? She's more powerful than I think she's leading on to. But and hearing the call of the crystal, at this point the fucking mystics are finally getting off their old asses and fucking mobilizing.
Yeah, and they're like, maybe we should make the journey.
Maybe we should go.
Yeah, I think you should, Eeyore. Hurry up.
And then they just slowly, it takes them 40 minutes to get out the front door.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they take that long journey, man. It's a slow one, and we get about 9 different shots of them in different fucking terrains, just still chugging along.
I got to bring this up on this because I don't want to bring it up when we do review the TV show, but I saw some awesome cosplay of mystics and a step-by-step on how to build your own
That is so weird because
costume.
watching this last time, I was thinking the Skeksis would be such an awesome cosplay to go to like Comic-Con, and people would and that's something I've seen a lot of cosplay, a lot of videos, pictures, and I haven't seen anyone do a Skeksis. Or maybe I just haven't realized, but I have not seen, although it'd be very difficult. I mean, the suits it'd be a lot of work, but it'd be an awesome costume and be really hot.
But the Mystics one looked really good.
I think that one would be even just as difficult.
Yeah, it seemed
especially how you have to walk.
'cause it was like 40 steps, but it was cool. It was really
especially
cool
once you're in the
how they put it
costume, they really don't walk like humans. Where
No, they
Skeksis
don't.
walk as humans at least, but they're walking really, and they're really low to the ground, so you'd have to be like crunched down.
over.
Your back would be fucking killing you. That'd be tough.
Yeah, it would be.
And you also got to control that third arm. Because they always got that third arm.
Oh, that's
out.
right. But you would probably just hang that if it's cosplay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're not.
But at least with
worried
the
about that.
Skeksis, you can just have the 2 arms because their other arms are usually hidden.
They're always hidden under their garments. Yeah.
Although both of them would be extremely difficult. But yeah, hearing the call of the crystal, they finally rally it up. They're on their journey through the swamp. And Jin runs into another Gelfling.
Whoa.
For there only being 2 on Thraw, what are the odds they run into each other?
Well, in this story, pretty good. It works out for him.
Well, it's meant to be.
It is.
You're going to have to meet it eventually. But she finds out that Kira is another surviving Gelfling who can communicate with animals.
Now, we're going to jump into the lore a little bit here when I asked you this question with the 7 tribes of Gelfling. I thought Kira looked like a Drenchen. A Drenchen Gelfling.
Oh, you didn't think she looked like a Grogan or whatever? I thought she looked
Drenchen. That's what they are.
That's what the underground ones are?
yeah.
I agree too as well.
Yeah, I thought she looked very Drenchen to me, and I was like, oh.
I think so too. Yeah. I don't think she looked, because Stonewoods are kind of
they're darker complexion,
Yeah, they're darker,
but I thought Jen looked more like a Stonewood.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And again, that just makes you think that we can't jump into it.
That's why I kind of brought it up with you, because that's where I was getting at. I was like, oh, I see it now.
And the Drenchen were, if you're just listening to this, people are thinking, man, these guys know a lot about Dark Crystal.
We really
know all 7 clans.
Yeah, we know 7 clans.
Just from watching the movie.
We're pretty deep
Just
in
from watching the movie.
Dark Crystal, so.
But yeah, like you said, and the Drenchen of the 7 clans are like the ones that are closest to Thraw.
Yes.
The Earth.
Yeah, and they're the underworld dwelling.
Yeah, and they're really close with animals and whatnot. But we get that, and Kira can call animals.
Yes,
she's got that power.
She has a power of communicating with them.
Yeah, and they also discover dream fasting.
They do when they touch together.
Yeah,
yeah.
Which is a cool thing if you have no idea about it.
No, I mean if Could you imagine? You had no idea your whole
And
life.
I come
you
up to
touched
you
someone's
and I
hand,
high-five it.
and we're
What
like,
the fuck was
whoa,
that?
Like, whoa, damn, dude, I didn't know you were into that kind of stuff.
Exactly, man. But Kira knows all about it.
Oh yeah,
Somehow.
she knew.
She's never done it before.
No,
But of course,
she was also raised by podlings.
Yes.
So maybe some way or
They
shape
passed
or
the
form,
information
they passed
down
the
a little bit?
information. Because she did speak fluent podling.
She does.
Yeah.
And you got to think if she was raised by podling, she might be a little slow mentally.
I would say probably
I got that
slow
hint.
and a little dirty.
I got that hint. Yeah. Oh, really dirty. She probably likes to tip back the bottle a little bit of it too.
We know one thing about podlings: they're all alcoholics.
Yeah,
severe alcoholics.
Well, they love to party. They have very.
They party all the time.
Well, they're just
Podlings.
slaves.
Well, right.
They're
so you gotta
literally
have something to have fun. You got to have something positive.
I
in
have
your
no
life.
doubt that they were put in this world 100% just for slave labor. I do not see any point of having the podlings around.
Absolutely. I would have no problems with saying that Skektek probably invented podlings just
Or
to
Jim
serve.
Henson.
Yeah,
They
or
were like,
Jim-
these guys are going to be shit on. Because they do nothing.
No.
But of course, they're the only ones to survive. So maybe they're the real geniuses of the fucking Thraw. But yeah, they discover and they dream fast. And of course, we know that means they're sharing memories.
Mm-hmm.
And they see everything that's been happening. And they see that they've been forced from their homes by the Skeksis.
Correct.
And they stay the night. They stay the night with the podlings.
And this scene, this 1982 film, it was really cool to see this podling scenes. And I brought this up off air to you, but it reminded me so much of the cantina.
Because they're partying.
Yeah, 'cause they're
every
partying.
time you see the podling, they're rolling around in dirt or getting thrown 50 feet into the, or just getting down, fucking drinking hard. These guys know
They go
how to do it.
They do. I mean, if there's any otherworldly party I'd like to go to, it's a podling party. In all honesty.
Yeah, and if there's like, and if I'm seeing this village, I'm thinking I'm not going to that crystal. Why can't I live with these guys? These guys fucking.
You guys have fun all the time. We don't even have chores. We don't have to do anything.
No, they even get cleaned. Well, not anymore, I guess.
Not yet.
But yeah, I mean, but they're going hard. Everyone in the village, and it's not like it's one building; it's every house. I'm guessing this is just a Tuesday night for these guys.
Oh, of course. It's just another.
There's not a podling that's staying sober. There's not a DD in this fucking crowd. They are just drinking like it's their last day on Earth.
And that's because more than likely it is. Because we find
Because
out.
they are so expendable. They know that
They
their
are.
lives are short.
Yeah. And the Gartham actually raid the village as they're partying.
Oh, of course, yeah,
Yeah.
which is a buzzkill.
No,
man.
such a buzz.
Who called the
We're trying to
fucking
have fun.
narcs?
Yeah, who called these jackasses?
And of course, they do what Garthams do. They just fucking run through the entire
They just
village.
break through all the walls. I'm like, there's nothing left of this tree now. I mean,
there's
the
nothing.
tree roots are dead. Like, you killed a tree in the process. And they start capturing podlings. But I remember watching this for the first time. And when one of those giant ass claws picked up a podling and it was like doing this, I was like, oh my God, he's gonna cut that podling in half.
Oh yeah, why wouldn't you?
I know.
And it's not
And
like
they
they're
just
like
put them in cages. I'm
it's
like,
not even I know now
okay.
they can be delicate, like the softest touch, but they can't even go through a door. They're tearing half the wall down.
they're like, Gartham, oh yeah.
It's nuts, but they destroy the whole village as Garthams do. But again, Kira and Jen end up getting away.
They do escape.
They spend the night together.
But if this is the first time you saw or have watched The Dark Crystal, you ask questions. Why were the Garthams capturing all the podlings?
Oh yeah,
So keep that in mind. We'll talk about that a little later. But
absolutely. Yeah.
they are capturing and enslaving these podlings.
Well, I know. Well, if you're in the village, you might as well grab a couple podlings. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking whatever race you are, Gilfling, anything, take a couple of those guys under your. Now
Because
they're
the
your
Skeksis will
slaves.
use you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you are. They will use you for slave
grab
labor.
them, and they're podlings. I think they're pretty fucking compliant with everything. You just tell them, yeah, you guys are slaves now. They're good with it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, and they discover.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, as Kira and Jen are escaping,
Yes.
who do we come across?
Is it
Because the Gartham are about to attack and grab them.
Yes.
And Chamberlain comes out.
Chamberlain comes out and he's
He tells the Gartham, no, do not attack. And then Jen and Kira book it.
they just say see ya, yeah,
See you
get
later.
out of there, yeah, Chamberlain, and so he's up to something.
Oh,
He's
you know
doing
it.
something, yeah. And Jen and Kira end up staying the night together because Jen's kind of hurt, but who knows what happened that night. They got to repopulate. They're the last two goddamn Gilflings on this earth.
Yeah. Well, and they come
Get to work.
Yep. Seriously, we don't have time for games.
No,
I don't know how
the
long it
entire
takes to have a
world.
child when you're a gelfling. 6 months, I'm assuming, because you're a little smaller.
Shouldn't be very long.
It grows a little faster than a human, I would hope.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm thinking they got a lot of fucking work to do, though.
They do.
Because we see they
And I'm
end up...
kind of hoping it's like a litter where they have like 6 gelfling per
I'm thinking probably
pregnancy.
not.
Okay.
They're very little bodies. I mean, they would have to be very tiny.
Tiny little gelfling. It'd be tough.
But, yeah, and we get that there used to be a larger world here. Because they go and they go to the Gelfling
Ancient
city.
ruins.
And it's ruined, you know? And at this point in the world, in this 1980...
And is this Stonewood? Did they show up on?
That's what
that
I was
the
kind of
question I was
wondering.
wondering. 'Cause I thought
sure.
it was Stonewood.
I thought it was the main castle.
Oh, where the Almadra was?
Yeah, because they had the
okay.
throne room that I thought looked really familiar to me. But I'm not sure. I'm not 100% on this. You know, that's
Right, of
That's
course.
just our knowledge
It's
and lore.
Yeah, speculation.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what it made me look up because and it looked like they had the sign. You know, that they see earlier on in the TV show and whatnot that tells them the 7 clans need to be brought together and whatnot.
Yes.
That's what they kept looking at. And at one point, kind of, Kira sits at the throne during this scene. She kind of, takes a seat down. That might be something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't want to read too much into that, but yeah, they go to the city and they discover the Gelfling ruins, and it's got ancient writing describing the prophecy. And the prophecy says, when a single shines, the triple
Vapra,
sun.
right?
The Vapra, yeah.
Yes.
And the prophecy says, when a single shines, the triple sun, what was sundered and undone shall be whole. The two made one by Gelfling hand, or else by none.
Whoa.
It's a good prophecy.
It is a very good prophecy.
Quick, right to the point.
And it rhymes.
Absolutely, and
You know,
every good
it's very
prophecy's got to
poetic.
rhyme.
Yeah, it's got to be
You
poetic.
got to be able to sing it so you can remember it later on. But they are interrupted again by who? The fucking
None other
Chamberlain.
than the Chamberlain.
Who knows
his whimpering ways.
their way around. Man, he gets around quick, too.
He does.
Yeah, but you hear him coming about a city block away because he's...
He can't quit doing that. He sure does.
No, it's a
that.
weird tick, I think.
It is. And he tries to convince the Gelflings that he's on their side. And you just come back to the castle and we will...
Yeah.
and he starts lying to them and saying that
Come out
we
of the
want to make
castle and
peace.
say you're not in a danger and
Yes.
that they'll let you go. Then why I got to go to the castle? Why can't I just tell you?
Yeah,
Hey,
and then
I'm
you
not-
can go tell them.
Why do I got to go there?
I ain't buying this bullshit.
That's how you become. That's how you. Yeah. That's how you get caged up.
It is.
And the Gelflings are smarter than that. Thank God.
I know.
Because most of the time, you're
Most of
thinking
the
these
Gelfling
guys
were-
are.
They're
yeah.
not the most physically gifted
And they're
creatures.
just trusting of everyone.
Everyone.
Oh, these giant bird-like creatures come from space one day. Let's worship them. We gotta do
they're
it.
gods. Yeah.
But yeah, so they eventually they told Chamberlain to get bent. Kick rocks, gal. We're not doing that shit. We got our own thing going on. And eventually they do escape from the Chamberlain.
Because, the Chamberlain tries to reach and grab Kira.
Because Fizzgig,
Man,
that thing can screech.
it can. And that was the only bad part of this movie. When the first part where he goes, rah, 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 it's so loud in the speaker that it's annoying.
It is.
But they
It's
had to
supposed
dub
be.
over a lot of this, the voiceover work for a second time because, in the original film, they had like a lot of different languages and the story was too convoluted and the movie was 20 minutes longer and had a horrible showing in San Francisco.
Yeah,
So
I
Jim
did hear.
Henson took out 20 minutes of this film and took out all the language and redid it with just English to
Pretty smart.
make the story more being able to
To
follow.
be fair,
it easier.
this story should have been told as a series from the start.
From the
because there's
beginning,
so much in here that you could tell that it's kind of the what's his name, George Lucas, where like they can only put 25% of what George Lucas wanted in there because he wanted
there's so much. There's so much of the world
yeah.
of Thraw.
Just
yes.
like Star Wars. Star Wars should have been just a 10-part series. Just,
Right away.
Yeah, right from the start. But yeah, it's the same thing where you could tell that Jim Henson had so much to this world. Where it's like J.R.R. Tolkien, where he had the world completely fleshed out and he wanted to put so much in it.
Yeah, no
but just
question
seeing it for the
and
first
no
time.
stone was unturned.
Yeah, exactly. But seeing it for the first time, that makes it pretty fucking difficult when you have no idea what's going on or what they're saying. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they go and they're interrupted by the Chamberlain, and Fizzgig, lucky for them, chomps on the Chamberlain and refuse their offer. They get out of there. They hop on some land striders.
Yeah, which is cool to see.
Absolutely.
Those things seem like they're cool.
Yeah, and Kira calls them. She just starts screaming. They start running to her.
Well, she knows. She knows how to communicate.
She's pretty good, yeah.
She is.
Finally, Jin and Kira arrive at the Skeksis castle, and they are intercepted, or the Gartham that attacks Kira's village. They're intercepted by the Gartham. While trying to free the captured podlings, Kira, Jin, and Fizgig descend to the bottom of the castle's dry moat and use a lower level entrance to gain access. At first they didn't want to go to the castle, now they're in the castle.
Now they want to go to the castle. Well,
they just didn't want to go with Chamberlain.
Yeah.
Of course, it would have been easy. You go with Chamberlain. You go, oh yeah, we'll go. You get in the castle, then you just split.
Yeah,
As
but
soon
you
as you get in the
also
front
have
door.
to try to make sure that you can split in time before 9 Skeksis surround you.
I know, but they're not even seeing that. They're not thinking the Chamberlain's even coming. I'm talking about you get in the front doors and you head out. I mean, you're already in there, right?
Yeah.
They're not. They don't have guards or anything at this point.
No.
It's just because there's no one there to attack them or anything.
But
that.
remember, Chamberlain captures Kira.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, she's got.
Because
Yeah,
Stone gets knocked out from Jen.
At that point, she has to capture him, though. If you would have said, "Yeah, we'll go with you," and you would have just, I'm guessing they could just walk. It's not like Chamberlain would have grabbed onto both of them. Like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
So I think you could have gone to the front doors.
Yeah,
and
I think it would have been a little easier that way.
But no, they go in the dry moat and they go through all kinds of crazy fucking, some crazy level entrance, lower level entrance, I guess you got to get into. But they eventually do. They go, but they're followed by the Chamberlain again.
Yes. This guy is, he's, what's the word I'm looking for?
He's not persuasive, but persistent.
Persistent, there we go.
He's very persistent. Yeah, he doesn't give up. And he knows every fucking corner and crevice of Thraw. Because he always knows where you're going to end up, where you're going to be. And again, he tries to convince him. Mm-hmm. This time he's more yelling at him.
Yeah, he's more firm, I would say.
But Kira gives him a little stab to the hand.
Not a fan of that. He's pissed.
And then she just goes, okay, then die. And he just grabs the ceiling. He just breaks
it down. I'm like, Jesus.
Thank God that whole tunnel didn't cave in. He would have all been dead. But yeah, it was brutal. I love that scene too. He just goes, Gelfling, die. And he pulls, and it does. It just crumbles onto
I would have assumed he was dead
the weak,
too.
fragile Jin.
Gelfling, yeah.
And Jin just lays there, and Kira is taken back to the
castle.
To the Skeksis.
Yeah, the Crystal Castle.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, they were already in it. She just takes him up to the throne.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, up to it instead of down below.
And yeah, she takes him and she presents him to the
new emperor.
The new emperor, who's the general.
The general.
We forgot it. The Gartham Master is what they call him.
Yeah, they call him in this. Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I
guess they can't call him the Gartham Master in the series because
that would make no sense.
Yeah,
yeah.
He'd be like Gartham what? What the fuck is that? Yeah.
And they do call him the general, I think, twice in this.
They do, yeah, a couple times, just to show that he's got a status, I guess. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and he reinstates Chamberlain.
He does.
Says, hey, you did it. You
got
him.
Yeah, give him back his garments.
Give him back his. It's such a big deal to have his clothing. Even though when Chamberlain still had clothing on when they went out to the forest,
it
and
just wasn't the royal.
It just wasn't
clothing,
nicer.
The royal garments for whatever purpose or reason.
And yeah, but she reinstates him, and the Skeksis scientist Skektek that we know him, he tries to drain Kira. Well, he does. He drains Kira for the general. Mm-hmm. And yeah, gets a good draining going.
It does.
Gets a good drink. He takes a couple swigs. He's feeling good.
And a little before this too, we saw that the podlings who are captured are being drained of their essence.
They don't really have great essence.
They don't have essence. Yeah, it's crap.
There's not a lot going on in there.
Remember, the general goes down and he drinks from Skektek, and then he immediately he's not healed again. And then
his hand goes young, and then it goes old.
And then it goes old again. Yeah, and he goes, "You're a fraud."
Yeah, he says, what is it good for 2 seconds? This is the worst high I've ever gotten.
Bro, these are podlings. Like, this isn't Gelfling essence.
Yeah, there's just nothing in those podlings.
No,
nothing.
They're alcoholics. Their livers are fucked up. I mean,
you probably get a little buzz from how much alcohol is in their system. But yeah, he says it doesn't fucking work, and he needs the real deal. Mm-hmm. You need that Gelfling essence, because that's the sweetest juice essence. You're gonna get.
Yeah, it's nice and crystal white. It glows.
Oh,
it looks
it's a
great.
Nice pure color. And yeah, that's what happens. They drain Kira just a little bit. Just milk her a little bit. You get a little bit of essence, because you need her around.
Yeah, you need her. Yeah.
And he drinks it, and he's feeling better, but oh, and at the same time, Augur is in prison in the scientist laboratory. Mm-hmm. And Augur kind of yells at Kira, Call the animals.
And there's animals everywhere in Skektek's.
Yeah, because he's running all
lair.
kinds of experiments and whatnot, Typical
And all the
science
animals escape.
stuff. Start attacking.
And they start attacking Skektek, which I'm like, thinking about that. I'm like, why didn't those animals do that sooner? But whatever, that's fine. So they all go.
She had to rally him up.
Yeah,
she had to sing
gotta
the
have a
song.
leader.
Yeah, you gotta have a leader. They're fucking animals. They don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
They're not plotting. But yeah, you got to get them coordinated. That's the big thing. And as this time, the Uru are, they're coming also.
They are.
They're
The Mystics
slowly
are
making
slowly trotting along.
But
They're getting close
I only
to the
bring it up
castle,
because
though.
once Chamberlain gets stabbed, we get flashback
go
to
back
it,
to
and he's
the
because he
Mystic,
also
who's
is
also
bloody
sad.
also, yeah. But so they're making their way up still, and Kira gets
No. We haven't got to it yet. So the animals attack Skektek.
Yeah.
And then he falls into the abyss and he dies. And then it's a flash right to the Mystics. And they turn, and one of their mystics just completely evaporates out of thin air
I know.
after
And you think
Skektek died.
if the Mystics were so good and benevolent creatures and they wanted the world in, they would have just killed themselves.
You would have thought. But
would've
so there's
literally-
some level of selfishness here.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not all fucking
No, they let an entire race
for thousands of
Gelflings
years.
die.
Because I also think they're living it pretty good.
Yeah.
They're
for
up
sure.
there doing whatever the fuck they
Well,
want.
they know the Skeksis aren't going to kill them, and they're
No.
not going to kill the Skeksis, so it's like, okay.
And they know that the Skeksis have to take care of the Mystics, so
Uh-huh.
they're living pretty. So it really, someone's got to really light a fire on their ass before they do anything. Because they're really, if the Gelflings were smart, they would have went straight to the Mystics, started slitting those guys' throats.
That's what I would have done as a Gelfling. I'd be like, okay, well, you guys will die.
But of course, they're loving creatures.
course
I guess,
they are.
yeah. But you got to think for the sake of the humanity. Well, you got to
For the
kill.
sake of the-
You got to kill 7 Mystics, or you got to let millions of fucking Gelfling die.
and get their essence drained, which is probably a miserable death.
It's a lot easier than trying to go and kill the Skeksis, which they do multiple times in the show at least, and they fail every time.
It's not even an attempt. It's
It's
a
a mini
sad
squash.
God.
It's so embarrassing.
It's so brutal.
It's literally like a scene of them. It's like a cartoon.
You
They're,
almost-
they're
yeah.
all rallied, and then 1 second later, they're all running out injured, and one's got one leg
They're
gone.
so pathetic that you almost root against them.
Yes.
In a lot of ways, you're like,
dumb.
well, you kind of deserve it.
Absolutely. They're just letting these things happen to him. But, yeah, so what happens after that? He falls in, the Mystic vanishes.
Yep.
Of course, and finally Fizzgig wakes Jin up. Finally, he wakes his ass up. He starts making his way towards the castle.
Right.
Or into the castle, right? And he gets in there, but then he's trapped by the fucking Maratham or whatever.
Oh, the Gartham.
The Gartham.
Yes.
They attack him. Of course, they're punching holes through walls right off the bat, even in their own goddamn
Well,
castle.
remember, because he's walking through him and
Fizzgig.
I'm stuttering. Fizzgig, and he falls through that compartment, and it's all dark in there, and Fizzgig is like freaking out. He's like, and this is the first time he's whining. And then we see a bunch of purple eyes in that darkness.
No, it's like they're fucking. I don't know. It's like the closet they keep him in or something. He fell into the
Stay
wrong.
there until you come out.
He
Till we
fell
call
into the
for you.
wrong goddamn room. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and I gotta say, pretty impressive Jen got out of that. But
Well, it's only because they started
the
punching
Gartham
holes.
start punching holes in the rock. Yeah, and then he slips through that, and then he's crawling up to the actual
Because they
crystal.
punch a hole right through the fucking crystal. That's where the crystal is being kept. Is just luckily enough the hole that they punched.
Yeah.
And Jin just goes, all right. He peeks through that hole and
he's
just starts
like, "Oh,
climbing
okay."
up. Yeah. It's so weird because like the Gartham, they punched that little hole. Why couldn't they punch a bigger hole at this point? It's just
No idea.
They're just trying to get their hand in the
I
Gartham.
know. It's like just punch through it, get him. It's ridiculous.
They're not bright though.
No,
They're
they never
not.
have.
They're like
been.
weird scorpion guys. They can't think much. I don't know. Maybe robots, but yeah, they go and Agra also escapes during this breakout.
She does,
And later she rescues Fizzgig because
which is
Fizzgig
pretty
gets
funny. Thrown down that tunnel. I was like, yeah, he's dead.
for a second I thought he was a podling the way they threw him.
It's like hup.
Like only one other being could be thrown that easily. But yeah, it's not. It's just Fizzgig, and they just fucking booed him into the pit. And you think he died because and then you hear a thud. You think he just broke his neck or something. But luckily, Agra later on wakes his ass up and gets him. So Jin, he climbs up, grabs onto the crystal. You see the suns, the great conjunction. The suns are about to align.
Yep.
Things are going great.
So he crawls up the little thing up onto the platform, and he's hiding behind that because right when he gets there, all the Skeksis come out to do the draining of the crystal. How they all sit there and drain it from the forehead, and they start to circle around. And what happens?
Jin leaps onto the fucking crystal, but of course
after they find out that Kira's there, and then they find out that Jen's there.
Yeah,
as
because
well.
again,
two Gelflings.
Again, the fucking Gelflings.
They're the worst hiders in the world. They're terrible.
They got like fucking steel toe boots on or something. Like they can't control their feet.
They're just like dropping dimes
kicking
and
everything
stuff.
they go. Like what the fuck are they doing up there?
They're not good at sneak attack.
And it's so. And I laughed. I laughed even as a kid. And I laughed when like they go up there, what the? And Kerr's just standing in the middle of
not even attempting to hide. Not even like getting behind anything. Like they don't have any concept of like physical objects hiding your physical body.
They have no idea of their self. They're just not self-aware.
Oh yeah, they're always like. I always feel like.
Oh, you can see me too.
Yeah, I always feel like they're super stoned and they're like, oh shit, I'm not hiding.
You guys can see me. Like, oh shit, I said that out loud. Like they're just yelling when they think they're whispering.
Like a Hunter S. Thompson.
But it is wild. You're right. They are just the worst. And you see, just even if you get a little bit in the show, you'll see that. My God, did no one ever play hide and go seek with these kids?
No, that was the one game that was forbidden with the Gelflings.
It is so fun. Yeah, but she kicks a rock or something. They look up and she's just
standing there.
And then she does a run. A little late now.
A little late.
But yeah, they shows them that, and then they see that Jin is also on the crystal.
And he's not even hiding very well either. I'm like, okay, well, let's just let him know that you're here. Absolutely. And then the general's freaking out, and he's like, Gartham!
And then they start running into their designated areas. They all say, and and then Jin jumps on the crystal.
He does.
But of course, he
drops the shard because he's unathletic.
Oh my God!
Figure it out.
One thing you can't drop. Put it on your belt. Put it in your pocket.
I know something.
Don't
and
be
he's lucky it didn't fall down the hole because that's game over. Movie's over. You lost, bitch.
I know. Exactly.
Is gonna drain you.
I know. I thought he was just gonna jump on the crystal and stab it.
I know. That's what I thought. Well, it was
but you gotta wait for the fucking planets. You gotta wait for the planets to align and all that bullshit. But yeah, he drops the crystal, and the crystal does it lands right next to the edge of, and Skeksis almost goes and grabs it.
But Fizzgig bites the hand,
and that's when he gets booted into the pit.
The hole, yeah, and he falls.
Yep, he falls far, a long distance. We don't know how deep that thing is.
I know. But it was safe to assume he was dead.
He falls, and he stops the Skeksis from grabbing the crystal, and then, of course, Kira runs over. Yeah. Well, she's got wings this whole time. She has wings,
so she floats down.
Well, it's not revealed here. She flies earlier.
She flies earlier, that's right. But it's revealed to the Skeksis more importantly.
It's 1980. I know, why didn't she just fly straight up when she grabbed it?
Don't know.
She can only glide.
She can only glide down, but she can't fly.
They had to keep it level. They can only add so much money for this fucking movie. I mean, we can't have this lady.
There's a budget. We got shit. We got to wrap.
We got wire work going on. Yeah. But yeah, because in the movie, because it's funny in the movie, she only ever glides. Mm-hmm. I mean, because it's obviously a lot easier to get an actor going down, just sliding down a wire than they are flying up. And you got to do you got to do special effects with the sky and everything.
Oh yeah.
So it's easier to do if they're just sliding down just slowly. But yeah, she glides. She doesn't fly. Doesn't use those wings anymore. Tosses the crystal. Gives a good throw. Nice little spiral.
She goes, "No, save us," or whatever she says. She tosses it.
As that happens, fucking the general.
He ain't playing around. He ain't playing games. Sticks a cold one right in her. Yeah.
Brutal. She goes down like a fucking sack of potatoes.
She's done.
Hard. She's done. She's still laying there, but
Jen knows she's done too.
Oh, absolutely. And as this is all happening, they're kind of just in. I mean, they can't do anything. They can't like climb up to the crystal or anything. They're kind of just watching as the suns
align, and then what happens? Jen drops the shard into the crystal.
Yep.
And he gets blown to smithereens. He must
have
no idea. 20 feet.
Oh, we have to say at this time the fucking Mystics are just now rolling in.
They're just now coming into the crystal. They're like, oh, is everything wrapping up here? Okay, perfect timing. Now we don't have to do shit.
Because I like when they go to the tower, the Gartham, they are standing out there. And remember, they just go,
do that.
Just kind of yell, kind of a low hum, and that moves them along.
They know to get that.
Then it takes them another 45 minutes just to get from the front door to the.
We could add a whole movie just to the Mystics travel.
Yeah, because so much is getting done within their time of just walking. Like Ginny's jumped on the crystal. He's doing all kinds of shit.
I got to be honest, man. In the world of Thraw, I would just hate this. I would hate the Mystics. I would hate the Skeksis.
Everything about him is horrible,
I just kill both races and then take over the crystal myself. I mean, because they're both selfish. We just brought it up. The Mystics are just as selfish as the Skeksis in hindsight.
They're aliens. I mean, they're not supposed to be here at all in the first place. And because of them, the entire race was wiped out. And they still said...
I mean, it was a massive genocide on the planet Thraw.
And they still said, no, we're going to keep... I think one's going to come back.
Yeah.
We're going to
It was like a half-assed thank you before the Skeks left. They were like... We thank you for aligning us.
Yeah, and how about an apology?
Yeah, no apology, nothing. Sorry, we
wiped
were
out
selfish.
my entire race.
They said they were arrogant too, but they never apologized. They weren't like, "I'm sorry."
No,
nothing.
And it's not like, "I'm sorry, I'm going to help you get your Earth back on the right tracks." It's, "I'm sorry, this is real fucked. We're going to head out.
We're bouncing. But you guys can have the Dark Crystal, but we're peacing out.
You guys can have this planet that's pretty much worthless at Weeborn. We've drained every life." But we're going to head out. And I'm guessing just go to the next planet.
Yeah.
Don't they just do this everywhere?
They probably do. They probably find the power source, and then they just separate, decimate the planet, and then are like, it wasn't really our fault because we weren't us.
Even as a kid, because we got to say, well, let's just talk about it. He puts the crystal in, and they become, like, the Mystics kind of roll into the Skeksis, and they become one, and they become just like beings of light. Are almost angelic.
Yes. Yeah, that's, I think, was what they were going for.
Yeah, they're just like pure beings of light. That's all they are. But yeah, I mean, it's, even as a kid, I'm like, that was kind of shitty of them. Like, they just, like, literally, that's like rolling into someone's house, destroying the house, and then when everything finally gets settled, and be like, oh, okay, you're good now? I'm going to head out. Well, you can fix this.
Here's a better analogy. It's like what you said. Come into the house, destroy the house, say you're on drugs. Like, because you're on drugs. Yeah. And then when you're sober, come back and be like, I did that because I was high. Goodbye. And then just not help.
Not even apologize.
Don't even apologize for ruining
Not even a sorry on your way out or anything.
Not a good friend. Not a friend I would want to have.
It's yeah, and it's but they do bring Kira back, I guess. But Kira wouldn't have been stabbed had you guys not stabbed her.
Right. So they brought back one Gelfling. How about you bring back the 5 million you wiped out
it's like the thing
of the 7 tribes of Gelfling?
It's like coming here, giving the entire world disease, saving one Gelfling, and be like, we're the heroes here. You need to worship us. We saved you guys from extinction.
Yes.
We caused it, but we saved you guys also. Yeah, and that's how it ends.
That's how it ends.
Boop, boop, boop. I'm out of here. And then Jin's like, just sitting there with Kira like, oh, now what? They don't have Mystics.
And that's literally the end of the movie, though. It's
roll credits.
Yeah, roll credits right after that. Like, we can't touch up on anything else.
No.
That was it.
Too much. We didn't have enough time. We got to go roll them. Yeah, and that's just, but we get kind of that Thraw is rejuvenated now.
Immediately.
The crystal is whole again, so maybe... But again, they got a lot of fucking to do.
They do. I mean, hey, I bet Jen and Kira aren't complaining.
Oh, I bet fucking Jen's not.
I bet when they both...
when she has to pump out 9 different generations of family.
She's like, I'm really tired of having children.
Yeah, I did not want this. I'd rather get back there and see it stabbed again.
I'd rather have
Jen's just fucking all day. He's living his life.
He's living his best life, definitely. I think he made out the winner in all of this.
Oh, for sure. Didn't get stabbed. Didn't get hurt. Had to sacrifice nothing.
Save the planet.
Yeah, it's odd, but I guess Agra's there too.
Yeah,
to do nothing.
To do nothing except complain.
See you guys later. Go sleep another 1,000 years, Agra.
Let me go use my orrery real quick.
Yeah, it's almost to where the ending. It might even not be that great of like a happy. I feel like I'm supposed to be happy.
Yeah, same. It was supposed to be like a resolution and ending, but I was gonna like, oh, okay.
Of course, maybe they just start getting that slave trade with the bottlings going again.
That is true.
You start rolling those guys in, start getting to clean this castle up. Right, because right now the Gelflings are the strongest beings on Thraw.
They are, and they run it now.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what we see. The Gelfling take over.
Well, they have to.
They just enslave the podlings. Happy ending for everyone.
Except the podlings, I guess.
Well, but, they still got their alcohol.
Of course, they are nothing, yeah. They are. But, yeah, and that's how it ends. Roll credits, that's it. And then the next thing we'll see of the Thraw is in the prequel.
Yeah, the Age of Resistance. Dark Crystal, the Age of Resistance.
And maybe if you've just watched just the 1982 version of the film, and you have not watched the series yet, which I hope a lot of people haven't, so they can watch with us. It's going to answer a lot of questions.
Oh, and I'm telling you right now, because we have seen a few episodes because we're recording this today to release it tomorrow. But man, it is so, and I want to preference this with people. It is so worth watching.
It really is.
I mean, if you were impressed with the which I don't know how you would not be, if you're not impressed with the 1982 puppetry of The Dark Crystal, the original film, you will absolutely be blown away with what they're able to do in this show, in the new one, in the Age of Resistance. It's incredible, and I pray to God that Netflix has more of this kind of puppeteer work come out, with The Dark Crystal, because this is a very popular franchise.
Yeah. Do you know Jim Henson?
Serious cult following.
You know Jim Henson was a puppeteer of Jin also?
Yes.
Do you
Well,
think...
he voiced Jin, didn't he?
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he voiced Jin.
no, he voiced Agra, I thought.
No, he also voiced Jen, though. He voiced Jen, High Priest, Ritual Master, and Agra.
Well, it says he is, on this, you might be right, but it says he's puppeteered by Jim Henson, performed by Kieran Shaw.
Oh, then maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, no, I just think that means Kieran Shaw was in the full body, because Kieran Shaw is that really little guy. He's
okay.
So I think, because at some points the Gelfling, you see their full body. And I think it is a person in a suit just for those things. Just because at one point he's climbing up the cliff and whatnot.
That's
so
right.
I think
yeah.
so.
The
yeah,
cliff and the scene where he's playing the flute. The very first time we see
kind of
Jen.
a full body. And I think just for those things they made a full. And because I don't know what you know about Kieran Shaw, but he's like 3 feet 6 inches tall. He's very, very small man. So yeah, he must have done 4 feet 2 inches.
Wow. Yeah.
So that must be how tall Gelflings are. 4 feet 2 inches.
4'2". It's good to know.
Not super tall. They're not playing basketball any day.
Well, that's our review, our recap of Dark Crystal, the 1982 Jim Henson film.
Yes, it is.
What did you think about it, Cash?
It's really hard to give this one a rating.
And I don't think we have.
I don't think we have to. Either.
I don't think we have to.
I love the
because
Dark Crystal.
It's really awesome, and this is revolutionary, as we've talked about before. This is, I really believe, like one of the catalysts for like next level puppeteering.
Well, it's set the bar for sure.
Yes, unquestionably.
But yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen Dark Crystal at this point, I mean, go on and watch it. But it's the Dark Crystal, man. It's pretty well known. I mean, it's famous. It's got a cult following for sure. Because it wasn't super. It got bad reviews when it first came out. Mm-hmm. I mean, people were
and it didn't do well at that San Francisco show either.
Because it wasn't really for kids, and the studio obviously made them really push that it was made for kids. Because I guess they thought, if it's puppets, adults can't watch puppets. They just can't.
Which is strange because I'm a grown ass man, and I really enjoyed this.
No, it's just another medium. It's just like.
But different times too, where they marketed completely different in the 80s than they would now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I really believe the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance is more for
it was
my
early
generation.
80s too.
Our generation, yeah.
But yeah, they couldn't market it towards adults or anything because they just thought adults would not go sit through a 2-hour puppet show. Mm-hmm. Little did they know, I'll sit through a 9-hour puppet show.
Definitely.
If it's
as good as this, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, again, I think it's just a medium of film. There's animation, there's claymation, there's puppeteer, there's live action. Yep. It's just another way of telling a story, and I like any of it.
Same.
As long as it's got a good story, good characters and whatnot, and the world of Thraw is a world that you just kind of want to dive into.
You do, definitely, and there's so much lore, there's so much history that you can really like just enjoy.
Oh yeah, you sink your teeth into.
It's world building.
It sucks that Jim Henson never got to see. Although he'd be very, very happy and he would just be overjoyed. He never got to see this world expanded like he wanted to. I know,
it's so sad,
because he was a
young man, too. He was only 50
He was not very old.
Away.
No, not at all. But he was always pushing for a sequel.
Yeah.
I mean, since that movie came out,
he wanted it super bad, but no one else would back it.
And no one would back it after. He never got it. But his daughter gets to live on that legacy, which is awesome, yeah.
I mean, what's better than having your own child, continue your legacy like that and enjoy
it doesn't
what
happen
she's
a
doing.
lot. I mean,
doesn't.
It's not like there's Disney's run Disneyland anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not involved. I mean, they're still around, but they're not involved or anything. Mm-hmm. So I like that they kept it in the family. Hopefully, it'll keep doing that.
For sure. Well, that's our review of the 1982 Jim Henson film, The Dark Crystal. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like this video. Comment below. What did you think about the original Dark Crystal film? Are you a Jim Henson fan? Are you excited about Dark Crystal Age of Resistance? Whatever your comments are, be sure to leave them for us. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell notification. We're posting 5 days a week on YouTube. Pretty active. We have 3 podcast episodes come out a week. Mondays, a movie review. Tuesday, TV Tuesdays. And Thursdays can be a movie news. Sometimes we go back and forth on those, on the movie review, movie news, depending on which week it is. But nonetheless, 3 episodes a week. You can find our podcast, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Kraus. And until next time.
Bye.